I have so many questions to ask you.
Spa.
It's beautiful.
So we're not so different after all.
I wish that were true.
Hello and welcome. Karen Swain here from Accentuate the Positive Media, Blissful Beings and the Inner Sanctum online sessions. I've got a special conversation that I'm having today with a dear friend in Sydney about what's happening in Israel. Her name is Etty Ayalon. Welcome, Etty.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So Etty and I had a great conversation yesterday, actually, about what's happening in Sydney and what she's seeing across the world. And it's going to make me cry just thinking about it. And I said, I'd really like to get this on tape. Let's find a time tomorrow to record what we have said, because as we watch the atrocities unfold on our news media and social media, we can get really down, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Let me tell you a little bit about Etty. Etty is Israeli-born, a light worker. She's a light worker and energy healer, passionate about the fusion of shamanic and Kabbalah in her energy work and offering. And Etty also works for a charity for the Jewish community here in Sydney, puts on events in Sydney and also very connected to Israel. So you're in the know in the Jewish community, what's happening across the Jewish community in Sydney, in Israel and throughout the world. And you've also got family in Israel, right, Etty?
I do, yeah.
Do you want to tell people what we were talking about, what you're seeing?
First of all, for the record, I'm no an expert, thank you. I'm not an expert in the field of politics or history or anything like that. What I'm saying is really, really from the heart. As an Israeli and as a Jew and as a light worker, that is where my share is coming from. This is really, really personal because it hits home. And we were talking yesterday about the atrocities of the Hamas and the barbaric behavior, and really what's happening as a result is that the Jewish community around the world is coming together as one. And so because we're really, really moving through, we're on the precipice. Let's just say we're on the precipice. And everything since COVID has been changing, and everything is continuing to change, and the world is not what we knew it. And we don't know what to expect because we keep getting bombarded with things every day out of left field. And the only way to move through what is coming is united and together. There's no them or us. We are just one. And I say this because I see how with what's happening in Israel at the moment, and this always happens, when there is war, people come together. When we have no choice because it's life or death, everybody puts all of their beliefs aside, all of their differences aside, all of the ego aside, and they come together to move through, to support each other, to keep each other strong, to be courageous and to build each other up. And I see that happening now in Israel because it's a situation where the people are for the people. I don't know if you were aware, but before this happened, Israel was really, really divided there were protests going on, peaceful protests, mind you, going on against the proposed judicial reform that the Prime Minister was pushing for, and his cabinet, which would give them unprecedented power that would go unchecked. And so the people became really, really, really divided. And now everybody first of all, the focus has shifted because it's survival. It's actually survival. And the whole nation, it feels like the leaders aren't leading because they're not leading. And the people are stepping up. The people are creating care packages for the victims. The people are housing all the victims that have become homeless all of a sudden and don't have where to be, or all the people that are from the communities that are affected that are now under war. The people are housing them and looking after them. The people are supporting the soldiers and supplying all the reserves now with everything that they need. And it's like the people for the people. And I came across a channeled message that this Israeli girl had shared, and I don't remember her name. I'm happy to add it later. But her message was, the reason this is happening is so that you will see and understand that you are all leaders in community. It's time to break away from the governments that keep you enslaved because of fear, because they claim and swear to protect you, but they do not at all. And here it's a true example of seeing the people for the people, and everybody leads. Everybody now at the moment is leading from their heart, you know? And it's really incredible to see here in the community and around the world how, as a nation, all of a sudden we are just one, because everybody in this nation is doing whatever they can do, doesn't matter on what level it is, to support. It's just like an emergency. Everybody is called from the center of their being.
Which is a hopeful message, because what we're seeing is so tragic. I mean, Etty and I are down here. I say down here because, you know, a lot of Americans that listen to the show. Down under in Sydney, we are very involved in unity festivals and peace festivals and love, festivals. And Etty was telling me the other day that the festival that we saw on the news was kind of one of those unity festivals. It wasn't just a doof rave. It was Peace, Love and Brown Rice Festival. And then, oh gosh, was it 200 people that were killed during the festival?
The numbers are increasing continuously. We don't know. But yes, around that, if not more. Yeah, but can you imagine? I mean, last night I took my daughter to her first concert, and we were at this rave full of beautiful young beings, and all I could think of, oh my God, could you imagine? I mean, I don't even want to get people to visualize it because I don't want to, to
imagine Pete.
But it's just, the thought is unfathomable.
Well, what's really interesting was, the week before all this unfolded, I had a beautiful woman on the show, Ann Tucker, who channels the angels, and their message was it was reiterating the conversation that we had yesterday. It's in order to bring humanity into unity where there are no borders, first we have to go through more chaos, because humanity is not going to shift just because they want to. It's like, wouldn't it be nice to be peaceful and have unity and, be more self-governance instead of depending on some elected official to make it all okay, protect us and, do the taxes and all that thing. It's an old story. We've been waiting for the governance to change forever. And the angels were saying that there is going to be more war before there is peace and unity. And it was so fascinating to hear you say that, because the earth has had war like for thousands of years. All we seem to do is want to kill each other. But we're now on the planet at a state of consciousness where it's no longer accepted, and people are stepping up. And the conversation I had with you was like, I just want to cry thinking about it. They're stepping up. You said to me that in Israel, everyone put aside their argument to come together, to support each other, to step up, to be leaders. And you said the money that's been raised, not only in Sydney, but across the world within the community to send aid, to send support, to send medicine or whatever they need is just exponential, how people are really stepping up. I mean, this happens in every crisis, but you're seeing it even more within the Jewish community. It's not just the Jewish community. There are other people that it's a humanitarian thing that's happening. It's happening to humans, not just people in Israel. But which I think, go on.
And also, sorry, I want to say that people are even wanting to volunteer and go over there and help. Right. They're not afraid for their lives, or they actually want to go physically, It's incredible.
Maybe this happens in every crisis, but you're just seeing it firsthand because you're so involved in it. And you said to me on the phone that there is not one person within your friends and family and community that isn't personally affected, who has friends or friends of friends in Israel. They've either got relatives or friends that have been murdered, are missing or kidnapped or injured. There's just not one person that's not affected because it's such a huge crisis. Yeah.
It is a huge crisis, and everybody knows somebody. That's why, I mean, even if you don't know somebody, that it's personal. It really, really is a personal attack. However, everybody does know somebody. Because of my line of work, I work directly with the communities that were rampaged and burnt down and slaughtered. We've been supporting them and building them. We take people to see that where their money goes, and they see what they do, and it's horrific. It's horrific, and people are missing, and we don't know if they're dead or alive, and it's just.
It is horrific, but what does it take to make humanity change? I said this to you, and I'm going to play this clip. I'll add it from the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still, where the alien comes to Earth and he's going to wipe out humanity because he needs to save the planet, and humanity are killing the planet. It's a common story. It's actually what's happened. I think they made the original movie was in the 40s or the 50s when it came out. So it was a message that was being pumped out through a Hollywood movie back then, and then they remade it, I think, with Keanu Reeves. And he's talking to a scientist, and the scientist is saying, don't give up in humanity. And he's going, no, it's too late. We're going to kill the lot of you. You're all bad. Please don't give up on humanity. Humanity can change. Humanity can change. And the alien Keanu Reeves says, we don't see that. We don't see anybody changing. You're just business as usual. And he said, but it's at the precipice. It's when we're pushed to the brink, when we're pushed to the edge, then we change. And I remember thinking, that's not true. We don't have to be, like years ago when I saw it, that's not true. We can change. But as like we're changing, the conscious community, the spiritual community, the people looking for enlightenment are changing. They're coming together, supporting each other, being more unified, getting rid of their negative thoughts, changing their belief structures. It needs to happen more on a global basis, and this precipice is happening. It's happening with earth changes, floods, fires, earthquakes, tornadoes, war. It's pushing us. Yeah, sorry, Jane, what do you want to say?
I agree with you, and that people need to wake up. I mean, the conscious community, they kind of get it, okay, and this is pushing them to work harder and shine brighter, because we actually need to anchor so much more energy and light. But the people who don't understand that yet, there's going to be a lot more suffering if they don't wake up. So this is an opportunity, and I don't know how, but we need to wake people up. We need to get this message across, because I believe that we can jump timelines. I believe that we don't need to go through all this horror, you know, to get to the other side of something.
Well, this is true, Etty, but we are already going through it. You know, when I had Anne on the show last week and she was talking about cataclysm, I've heard so many people over the years of showcasing New World teachers talk about this stuff. And like you, I thought we can jump timelines, we can be peace, love, and brown rice, and we can glide through into the future. But you know what? The light workers did not come to Earth to sit in a feathered nest. They came to Earth to be a part of the struggle, to help people out of the turmoil, to help people shift their paradigms, to shift their thinking, to overcome judgment, separation thinking, negative thoughts. I mean, war is somebody disagreeing with the other person. It's just beliefs, right? It's all beliefs. So the light workers are here on Earth for that. So yeah, sure, we can jump timelines, but we didn't come here to do that. We came here to be a part of this shift. And, you know, it's like, we're going to shake you to wake you. That's what we're here to be a part of. So while we are in the thick of it, while we're watching atrocities unfold on our screens or in our lives, what do you think we can do to make it more of a smooth transition? What's your opinion?
The only way through this is random acts of kindness, compassion, and caring for one another and lifting each other up. And if you need help, ask. If you can give help, give help. It's actually being there for your brothers and sisters, but also it's with love and in the most graceful way possible, waking your brothers and sisters up so that they realize the truth. And so if we're already in the thick of it, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yep.
You know, and all the prophecies have always said that it's going to begin in Israel. So this is a tale-telling sign that this is something huge. We don't know what way it's going and how it's going to unfold, but I don't even want to think that. So just brace yourself. And I feel that when people are in trauma and in, you know, when they've lost all hope, then that's when they cling even more to devotion, or a devotion of something to bring them hope, you know. So yes, prayer, and devotion to whatever it is that you believe in, to rise up above and see that we are one. And if one is hurting, we're all hurting, you know. And how do we fix that?
Yeah. We rise by lifting others. Paul Selig says it so beautifully through his guides. When you see the divine in what you look at transforms. And what we do as humans is we look at something unwanted and we don't see the divine. We see what we've deemed as the devil or the perpetrator or the victims. And we go into judgment and who's right and who's wrong. And we don't see the divine orchestration. If life is shaking us to wake us, then there isn't a divine orchestration. So if we can, as light workers, because not everyone can do this, but we will help others by leading the way, right? If we can look at the divine inside the trauma and see the divine orchestration and feel appreciative to the people that have elected, their souls have elected to go through that experience, to be a part of the shift. So the people that are dying, they've taken their exit point. They've said, this is how I'm going to exit the matrix. I'm going to be killed at a festival or, you know, at 21 or whatever. And the people that are suffering because of loss of life, loss of health, loss of material, if we can appreciate those souls that are going through that as they're all part of the divine orchestration, and send our love and appreciation, for all the atrocities that people are experiencing, people in floods and hurricanes and all that sort of thing, because it's happening on a global level everywhere. People losing life, losing property, loss. Yeah, so there is a grander message for us here.
Absolutely. And even to those that are brainwashed, they are brainwashed. And if we can find it somewhere in our heart to send them love with the intention to wake them up and out of the brainwash, so that they recognize and realize that that is not the way.
Yeah. It's interesting. I've had Garnet Schulhauser on the show. I haven't had him on for a few years, but one of my favorites. I talk about him often. I haven't spoken about him lately. But Garnet's taken by a spirit guide around the cosmos and shown many things. And he's taken in his astral form over to what we call the spirit side. And he was actually interviewing on the spirit side a terrorist who had died in some bomb or something. And he was saying, why did you choose that at the time? And that's exactly what this spirit soul said, consciousness outside of the body said, that he was brainwashed, but from his broader perspective, he could see how he was brainwashed and why he was brainwashed. And he was eager to come back to do it again and to not get swept up in the brainwashing. So, as I said, life continues to challenge us and we keep doing it over and over again. Some people say that this is a karmic wheel that we can't get off. I don't believe that. I think that we elect to come back because we want to overcome what we didn't overcome before. So there's a lot of people dying. There's a lot of people dying, both terrorists and innocents. They'll come in as the new babies, all love and light. They won't be brainwashable, Etty. The children, look at them. Some of the children, many of the children, okay, all of the children, many of them are not brainwashable anymore. It's like when you give them something to think about that doesn't resonate with their heart and their knowing, they just know, they resist.
Right.
That's how the world changes.
Yeah. So,
darling one, thank you for coming on to chat with us today. I just thought it was such an important message to bring a different perspective, that this war is galvanizing people. It is bringing people together, and it is creating love and unity, even though it's a really hard way to create love and unity. Like, we get together, as I said, Etty and I she's been involved in organizing festivals with the Unity Boys and been a part of Love Fest, and we come together to create love and unity in a fun, uplifting way. I think that's a much better way of creating love and unity, rather than having to go through what the people of Israel and
where everybody with all their differences is accepted,
exactly,
and loved, and is a part of the community.
Yeah. Beautiful one. Thank you so much. Any last messages?
Thank you so much. No, just love and prayer, and to Israel, to the Gaza border, to the entire region, and to the entire planet. Really, we all need it.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
There must be alternatives. You must have some technology that could solve our problem.
Your problem is not technology. The problem is you. You lack the will to change.
Then help us change.
I cannot change your nature. You treat the world as you treat each other.
But every civilization reaches a crisis point eventually.
Most of them don't make it.
Yours did? How?
Our sun was dying. We had to evolve in order to survive.
So it was only when your world was threatened with destruction that you became what you are now?
Yes.
Well, that's where we are. You say we're on the brink of destruction, and you're right. But it's only on the brink that people find the will to change. Only at the precipice do we evolve. This is our moment. Don't take it from us. We are close to an answer.